This talk will illuminate the various ways that secular people have found purpose and meaning in their life, and suggest some empowering strategies for doing so. It will combine insights drawn from recent psychological and neuroscience research, writings by secular thinkers, and the presenter's experience of writing a series of events where secular people discuss the meanings and values they found in their lives. Gleb Tsipursky, PhD, is co-founder and chief insights officer of Intentional Insights. Its mission is to promote rational thinking, and thus a secularization of society in a subtle and innovative way, by tying it to self-interest. We get rid of the woo, ubiquitous in the field of self-improvement and leadership development, and apply only research-based approaches to illustrate how rational thinking helps people achieve their goals. Gleb Tsipursky is also a tenure-track professor at The Ohio State University, specializing in analyzing decision-making and goal achievement in historical contexts. Together with his spouse, Agnes Vishnevkin, he has run the Values and Meaning HCO event. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Gleb Tsipursky.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Thank you all for coming here. It's great to see such a nice attendance, and great to see all of you. I haven't been to these for a while, but as you know, my wife has been sick for a bit, so it's great to get out and see all of you folks again. So, thank you. Thank you all for coming. And let's talk a little bit about finding purpose and meaning in life. Big question, isn't it? So, this is how the program will work. This is how we'll do things. We'll start with a program overview, and I'll tell you what it's going to be about. There's going to be research and thinkers and finding purpose and meaning, so kind of the broad ways of thinking about how you find purpose and meaning. Then purpose and meaning from an evidence-based perspective will be the next part of the talk. And then we'll find some strategies in how you, as an individual, find purpose and meaning in life. So that's going to be the talk. Thank you. All right. So, what is the meaning of life? Now, it's not 42 for you fans of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But think a little bit about this. Purpose and meaning in life. What is it? Yeah. So think about this. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? So consider this question. Just dwell on it for a little bit. Now, I personally struggled with this question throughout my teenage years, throughout my young adulthood. You know, when I was a kid, I remember having long conversations with friends about the purpose of life, the meaning of life. I mean, my parents tried to tell me their sense of purpose and meaning, but I always had a bit of a contrarian streak, so didn't really listen to them. I just really engaged with my friends, and I remember this one long conversation when I was 18, and my friends and I, my two closest friends, we stayed up all night and just played cards, drank. Yes, I was 18 and I was drinking. And we were just talking about the meaning of life long into the evening. And I remember then going to college and kind of reading the great books about, you know, purpose, and which had a lot of good stuff about purpose and meaning and thinking about these things. But I never really, and it really enriched my understanding of purpose and meaning to talk about these things with others, to read the great books, but I didn't really get a clear sense or a clearer sense of purpose and meaning in life until I got to research on meaning and meaning making and how we make meaning in life. And that is how I came to having a more developed and a clear sense of how to figure out purpose and meaning in life. So, let's talk a little bit about the research. What does the research show? Well, the research shows that people who can give a clear answer to the sense of purpose and meaning in life have better lives. So it's just, they have higher, what does that mean? They have higher mental well-being and physical well-being. It's just they can deal much better with life situations of all sorts. And probably the first contemporary researcher who is really prominent on researching purpose and meaning is Viktor Frankl. And Viktor Frankl is a Viennese psychiatrist who lived through the Holocaust concentration camps. A very, very powerful experience. And there he found, so he himself was Jewish, he was there, and he found that the people who survived best were those who were able to find meaning and purpose in their experience, and which he described in his most important book, Man's Search for Meaning, 1964. So that's a good reference for you to check out, just as a way of starting to think about this. Now, what does the research show? So there are some other things that research on meaning shows. And one of the things that it shows is that a clear and strong sense of meaning correlates with religion. So it correlates with religion. And according to religious perspectives, most religious perspectives, the purpose and meaning of life is to be found in God. So that's kind of religious perspectives on purpose and meaning. Now, for those who want to explore this, a really important contemporary thinker is Karl Barth. So one of the most important Protestant thinkers of this time, and he wrote the Epistle to the Romans, where he called for people to pay attention to finding God in Christ, which is the only source of meaning. That's according to that perspective. A more popular book that you might have heard about, The Purpose-Driven Life, was written by Rick Warren, who is a Christian megachurch leader. And again, that's same sort of experience. Well, to what extent is this true, though? Some thinkers disagree that the purpose and meaning in life is to be found only in a religious perspective. And we can go to a person like Jean Paul Sartre. I don't know, I'm probably butchering the name, so if somebody knows how to say it better, that's fine. There you go, thank you. And, okay, thank you, I appreciate that. So, he has a book called Existentialism and Human Emotions, where he talks about the concept of atheistic existentialism, the philosophical perspective that the source of all meaning and purpose in life originates from the individual, from within the individual, not from an external source, but from an individual. And the challenge of modern man, according to Sartre, is to discover meaning and purpose as a consequence of the realization of the absence of God. So what does that mean? It's the question of meaning for Sartre is to find that meaning, is to make that meaning. So it is the making of the meaning itself. And that relates very well to Michael Shermer, the reading that I sent around earlier and that Doris did. Thank you, Doris, for doing the reading. So very much that sense of meaning, so that personal sense of meaning, and the finding of that meaning after a discovery or after a recognition of the lack of God, so that personal sense of meaning. Now, another recent thinker in a very recent book tries to negotiate the sense of spirituality and religion and meaning-making in a more nuanced way. So those are two more binary perspectives I presented earlier. Now, in a more recent book, the recent book by Sam Harris called Waking Up, that you might have heard about. 2014, just published a couple of months ago, and this is what he states, Sam Harris. Separating spirituality from religion is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. It is to assert two important truths simultaneously. Our world is riven by dangerous religious doctrines that all educated people should condemn, and yet there is more to understanding the human condition than science and secular culture generally admit. So Sam Harris tries to nuance this gap. And how can we then find a sense of meaning and purpose, the kind of things that Sam Harris describes as falling within the realm of spirituality, without religion? How can we do so? Well, what does the research show? The research on meaning-making shows that the important thing is simply to have a sense of purpose, not the sense of purpose. So, while religion provides one sense of purpose for finding a meaning, it is not the only sense of purpose for finding meaning. It is not the only source for finding meaning. Let's go back to Frankl, so the original prominent researcher. What does his research show? As well as those of others. But his research shows that the crucial thing for individuals who are trying to find a sense of purpose and meaning is to actually look for it and develop a personal sense of individual purpose and meaning. And what he terms, he has a phrase called the will to meaning. Will to meaning, so being able to find that meaning. And he helped people find meaning in their lives, both in the concentration camps, where he himself was a prisoner, and acting as a psychiatrist who was helping, therapist who was helping others find a sense of purpose and meaning. And he helped people, both in the concentration camps and afterward, remember their joys, their sorrows, their sacrifices, their blessings, their past experience, and envision these, and find purpose and meaning in those experiences. Meaning, according to Frankl, can be found in any situation within which people find themselves. And he specifically, due to his own experience, emphasized that meaning can be found even in tragedy, even in horrible situations, as long as one searches actively for that meaning. And for example, in tragedies, meaning can be found in human courage and human dignity. So those are some sources of meaning, so the search for meaning. Frankl argues that not only is life charged with meaning, but that meaning implies responsibility, namely the responsibility on oneself to look for meaning, to take active steps to look for and discover meaning in one's life. So, if that is the case, why does research show that meaning correlates with religion? Well, several reasons. One is that meaning making, the process of making meaning in one's life, correlates with strong community connections. And of course, religion in terms of church and whatnot, houses of worship, provides very strong community connections. So that is one reason why research shows that meaning correlates with religion. Another reason is the opportunities for serving others. So research shows that meaning making, the sense of meaning in one's life, correlates with an opportunity to serve other people. Correlates with an opportunity to serve other people. So those are some important reasons. Now, a third reason, something that is the case, it has not been shown by research to be, so there's no citation of it, but it is pretty clear from our experience and what we know about the contemporary world, is that there's so much more focus on giving answers to purpose and meaning within religion. Religion provides a very clear answer to what is the purpose and meaning. But there is research that shows that meaning-making and purpose-making in one's life, and the sense that comes from it, is much stronger when that sense of purpose is developed within oneself, as opposed to given by others from the outside. So religion may not be the best way, may not be the best source of finding meaning and purpose, because religion just gives you the answer. It does not encourage you to search for the answer for yourself. So religion, because it consists on a single truth for meaning, may not be the best means of finding an answer, but there are so few explicitly non-religious venues for finding purpose and meaning in your life. And that is a big problem for people who want to find meaning and purpose in life from an evidence-based perspective, from a non-explicitly based perspective. Now, one venue for finding purpose and meaning in life is the Values and Meanings group that HSCO runs, and I ran it along with my wife over the past year, and this year Jeff and a couple of other folks, Charlene, will be taking it over and running that, and it will be run here. And it will be run, when is the first meeting, Jeff? I don't remember.
We're not sure yet.
Not sure.
But it'll post that meetup and it'll still be public.
Excellent. So a new venue is Intentional Insights, the organization that I helped co-found, that there are some board members here. If you don't mind, would you mind introducing yourself, board members of Intentional Insights? Okay.
We can do it later.
Can do it later,
Yeah.
okay. So the organization is devoted to, it's informed by some of the sources from the Values and Meanings group that I ran and my wife ran, and other sources, the Columbus Rationality group that is also meets here as part of HCCO, and research from other venues, as embodied by this workshop. So this workshop is one offering from Intentional Insights. And this workshop actually models evidence-based ways of finding meaning and purpose in your life. First of all, it enables you to reflect on your sense of meaning and purpose, which is one way of finding meaning. Another way is it does so in a social setting with others, so the community connections. And third, you help others find meaning and purpose in life through your discussion and your contribution to their activities in finding a sense of purpose and meaning. Now, this presentation is just one of many offerings from Intentional Insights, and we offer workshops, professional development, and online resources with targeted individuals and organizations for ways of effectively evaluating reality, making good decisions, and refining and reaching your goals. And I want to welcome Richard to read some quotes that give feedback from our workshops, to give some examples of what people find the benefits of our workshops to be.
I have 3 quotes. I was going to read it in 3 different accents, but I'll just do a charming Southern. I really enjoyed the workshop. It helped me to see some of the problems I may be employing in my thinking about life and other people. Something I gained from this workshop are tools to help me be a less stressed out person. I've gained new perspective after attending the workshop. In order to be more analytical, I have to take into account that attentional bias is everywhere. I can now further analyze and make conclusions based on evidence. With relation to the fundamental attribution error, it can give me a chance to keep a more open mind, which will help me to relate to others more and view a different view of the map in my head. From the workshop, I have gained the knowledge of how to better assess the conflicts in a situation and how to resolve the issues. The benefits of the workshop for those who participate can include greater self-awareness, greater strategic planning, and greater satisfaction with life.
Thank you, Richard. All right. So, how do you as an individual find purpose and meaning in life? Well, I'm sorry, there is no objective answer to the question of meaning in life and purpose in life. The only answer that makes sense to ask is, what is the meaning in life and the purpose in life for me? That is the only question that makes sense to ask. And before we actually go into working out on the strategies of how to find purpose and meaning in life, here is the first component of the strategy. Evaluate your sense of purpose and meaning through the personal meaning, purpose and meaning questionnaire that I developed based on my research and the research of others. So please take about 3 minutes or so to answer the questions in the questionnaire. I passed around some pens.
They're right there.
Except for me, keep passing.
You can take a look at the scoring also on the very bottom as well. I think I see that most people have finished up just the first go-round. So let's go on to talk about strategies. So thinking about highest order goals, or what is the meaning of life for me. Now, because this is a time-limited presentation, we'll not have time to go through and have you answer each question in depth right now. So what I would encourage you to do is take some notes as I go through it, and then you'll have some time at the end to think about these some more and to discuss these with other folks, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, so highest order goals. What is the meaning of life for me? What kind of a life do you want? Think about that. Think about some adjectives that would describe the kind of life that you want. Now, I know that many people go with a happy life, but there are some problems with just searching for happiness as the source of meaning in life. Research shows that people who just try to pursue happiness often are likely to feel less happy, actually, than others who don't only seek to pursue happiness, because they inevitably do not reach their ideal of constant happiness. Also, people who pursue happiness only and are oriented toward personal happiness may often intrude on the happiness of other people. Finally, some recent research shows that there was a key difference between a life of meaning and a life of happiness. So, for example, there's one study where researchers followed just under 400 people over a month-long period, and then they examined whether people thought their lives were meaningful or happy, as well as their choices, beliefs, and values. And one key difference was that happiness was linked to being a taker rather than a giver in life, whereas meaningfulness was linked to being a giver rather than a taker. So there's kind of this difference between people's sense of meaningfulness and happiness. And so here are some additional concepts beside happiness that people use to answer this question of highest order goals. There's fulfilled, so being fulfilled. And there's a satisfaction as a result of fully developing your abilities, your character, of enacting and living your values in life, regarding both yourself and others around you. Now, another description that is used often is meaningfulness. So the sense of finding meaning and purpose in life, generally through connection to the broader world and other people, and this often overlaps with the sense of being fulfilled. There's healthy, so having full, richly developed mental well-being and physical well-being. There's flourishing, and there's another adjective, which means to live within an optimal range of human functioning and have the best life possible in all areas. And there might be others which are specifically personally relevant to you. I personally prefer happy, fulfilled, and flourishing. So those are the terms I use for myself. So let's think about the next one, purpose. And this again is going to be in your worksheet, so you can take notes on it as we go through it and actually fill it out more completely at home. So this is all part of the worksheet. Now, many organizations have a vision statement. So the vision statement for Intentional Insights is to have a world where individuals, organizations, and governments rely on research-based evidence to improve constantly their ability to evaluate reality clearly, make effective decisions, and enable all people to live optimally happy, healthy, flourishing, and fulfilled lives. Now, I would encourage you to develop a personal vision statement that goes from your highest order goals. So basically, for each of your highest order goals, write out a sentence that would describe what that specific adjective means to you. So or sentence or bullet points, whatever works well for you. I prefer sentences, but that's just me. You might prefer bullet points. Different people work differently. So, I have happiness, fulfillment, and flourishing. So what does happiness mean to me? It means creating the kind of life that provides moderate but systematic stimuli of various sorts that cause me to experience well-being on a daily level and on a long-term level. So that's happiness for me. Then fulfillment to me means constantly improving my understanding of the world and myself as well, and sharing my knowledge with others to help them understand themselves and the world better, while benefiting society from my actions. So that's the term fulfillment for me. And flourishing to me means knowing that I rely intentionally on evidence-based strategies that I adapt to myself and my needs, to pursue constant improvement of my effectiveness, to ensure that I live the best life possible now and in the future. So that's kind of my purpose and my purpose statement. So that's, again, you can take notes and fill these out at home. Now, the person I want to be is the next strategy that I want to talk about. So this relates to how you actually live your purpose. To live your purpose, what kind of a person do you want to be, or do I want to be in this sense? So basically what you would like to do is envision the key qualities, the key characteristics of the person you want to be in order to achieve your purpose in life. So for myself, the answer I give as myself is that I want to be the kind of person who is constantly improving his ability to have self-awareness, self-management, mindfulness, thoughtfulness, and intentionality. So those are the 5 key values, key qualities I strive for. So think about the values, the virtues, the qualities that you want to strive for in order to live your purpose, to accomplish your life purpose. Living intentionally. To become the person you want to be, so the previous one, linking to that one, what steps can I take in my everyday life to live intentionally? Now, what does this mean? Well, we're not stuck with our current version of ourselves, the person that we are right now. We know we can intentionally change ourselves into the person that we actually want to be. Also, research shows that linking our everyday steps to our eventual future goals is very motivating and helps us lower stress and build resilience. So this is the everyday steps in your everyday life that you can take to live intentionally. And in the intentional insights, we teach a wide variety of strategies to help you transform yourself into the ideal version of the person that you want to be. And also within HCCO, there's the group Columbus Rationality, which also focuses on a lot of these strategies. It meets the first and third Monday here in this room, usually at 7:30. Now, there are a lot of strategies that you can talk about as part of intentional insights that we teach, but I just want to talk about one that I practice for myself, and that has been shown by a lot of research to actually really deeply improve your sense of meaning and purpose in life through minor steps that you can take on an everyday level. And it's basically a strategy of practicing gratitude, a gratitude journal, journaling. You can do it once a day, you can do it every several days, you can do it once a week, so depending on whatever works for you. And it's a remarkably easy strategy. It does not feel intuitively like it will get you much, so it feels weird to actually do, to sit down and say what you're grateful for in your life. But the research shows that it really works wonders for helping improve your sense of personal meaningfulness and purpose in life. Now, 3 steps to gaining agency. Agency is the quality of living intentionally. So how do you actually live an intentional life? Take the steps in your everyday life to become the person you want to be and live your purpose to achieve your highest order goals. Well, there are 3 steps basically, and 3 components to it. You strive to evaluate reality clearly, make effective decisions, and achieve your short-term and long-term goals. So those are the steps that you would take. Now, at this point, what I want you to do is take 5 minutes and look over all the notes that you have made on the workshop, on the worksheet, the strategies, and think about all of these questions. So take a few minutes, and then I will have you go into discussion in groups. All right? So at this point, please, thoughts, questions, anything you want to talk about. Anything that you noticed in the group that you want to talk about, or about yourself. Other Jeff.
Yeah, I think in terms of when I'm just trying to provide some meaning, and I don't have any overarching singular meaning in my life, and that's fine with me. But just in general, what I want to do with my life, I think in terms if I were to die tomorrow, why that would be a bad thing. And I say, well, I've got a book that I've written, but it's not published. Oh, you know, if I had a week to live, I might be frantically trying to find a publisher for my book. It would seem a sad thing to have the book die with me. So there's things like that if I think in those terms, then maybe I don't plan on dying soon, but you know, as opposed to
Those that do don't enter.
So it sounds like what the kind of things, project-oriented things that you would find purpose and meaning in. So kind of accomplishments, and that's definitely one source of finding meaning and value.
And then to motivate me to spend a little more, I just picked up my book again, and I got some work I need to do on it recently, and because it could sit there forever, and I plan on living for another few decades, you know. So if I say, you know, if I think of these things, like give it a little higher priority. I mean, there's things I have to do during the day. I got to make an income and do these things, but at some point you got to make some room for the stuff that's more important but not urgent. And so thinking of not to be overly morbid, to think in terms of death. If I were to die tomorrow, why would that be a bad thing for a broader purpose? Then I would not have my book published. I think that would be sad. It's a good book. So.
Thank you, Jeff. And that relates, first of all, 2 points that I think are very important. So it sounds like one point that you raise is what you find purpose and meaning in. It doesn't sound like the everyday just work and making an income is that meaningful. It's the bigger, lower level meaning, but the higher level meaning, kind of the finishing the book. So it is a meaning-making activity. It is an activity that creates meaning in your life. So that is very important. Thank you for raising that. Another one is accomplishing long-term projects that are important but not urgent. And that's one of the broader strategies that Intentional Insights offers a lot of content on. How to set and achieve your goals in the most effective way. So you have a question?
Well, what makes this different is I've written this book. No one else has written this book. So it's a unique contribution of me to the known universe, as opposed to a lot of the work I do on a daily basis. Someone else might not do it as well, or might, I don't know, but somebody else could handle your divorce, you know, or whatever. But so right, yeah.
Sure. I'm not divorcing, but okay.
One's divorced.
No, I understand that individual, unique sense of purpose and meaning.
Yeah.
Thank you. Amy.
Just to pick up on what other Jeff said, when I kind of teach this general area to my students, one of the things I make them do is write their obituaries. Because of this general idea that, you know, what you find purposeful and meaningful is in many ways what's missing from your current obituary. That learning how to live well is learning how to die well. And it's a Buddhist insight, actually. They have this myth of this bird of death that will come and land on your shoulder. And you know that you've lived a good life if it cheeps and says, you know, you're ready to go. And not that you want to die, but that you're okay with dying. That, you know, you feel that you're a good person, that you feel that, you know, you've accomplished things, etc. And that's living the meaningful life.
And that relates to a broader kind of approach to goal achievement. There are two types of goals in general that we talk about. Again, this is a part of Intentional Insights offerings. Process goals and outcome goals. What kind of outcome goals do you want? So the specific accomplishments, and what kind of process goals do you want? So process goals relate to how you're doing things right now in the moment. So let's say your highest order goals could be adjectives for how you're currently living your life, and that's kind of a process goal. Or they can be kind of outcomes, what kind of outcomes you want to achieve in order to get there. So that's that's a broader framing of thinking about the issue. And thank you for bringing that up. Others? Yes, Rob.
Well, along the lines of that personal purpose,
I think it can go even more trivial than what that sort of brought up. You know, like, my reason to keep going on does not have to be a book, or even something that really has an impact on the world.
Sure.
My reason for living is I haven't seen the next Adventures movie. I'm not going to see the release date of Fallout 4. There are all these individual things there are all these things I'm going to miss if I were to die.
And I think that's a really good point, and that there is a clear correlation between what you're saying and what Jeff is saying is the individualization, the sense of individual purpose and meaning. What matters to us as individuals, and then this relates to the broader concept of purpose and meaning, the existentialism perspective on purpose and meaning. Really finding purpose and meaning that is individualized and for ourselves and for who we actually are. Yes, last point by Jeff, and then we'll have to...
Kind of inspired by what Robert just said, Greta Christina, by coincidence, the speaker that some of us will get to hear Monday night, she writes a column called Fierce Humanism for the Humanist magazine, and she read an article called In Praise of Frivolity. And the theme was that, like, meaning can come from, like, great achievements and accomplishments and so forth.
Like the book.
Like the book, but it can also come from, like, watching a funny rap video about a thrift shop.
Like the...
It doesn't have to be, like, the big and momentous, but a lot of our meaning can just come from little fun things, too.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great point to conclude on and go to the feedback form that all of you received. So if you take a look at the feedback form and take some time to fill it out, give us some feedback, share your thoughts. And again, this will help you process and enrich your understanding of this workshop, its content, and what occurred here. All right. Let's take a couple of minutes to do that. Sure, that sounds good. Did everyone have an opportunity to fill the feedback, to fill out the sheet for additional resource from Intentional Insights? Raise your hand if you did not.
Would you like people, when they're done, to hand in feedback forms, or how would you like to do this?
Yeah, just pass them up front once you are done, that's fine. And then you are welcome to either leave the feedback forms anonymous or write your name on them, whatever you choose to do. If you want to write your email, we can also use that to contact you. So it's up to you, whatever you choose to do. Please pass them up front once you're done, but take your time to fill them out thoroughly if you're not done. Some folks are still working on it, so we'll give them time. You're welcome to ask any other questions if you have them, or I know some people are still working on the feedback forms, some people are already done, so if you have thoughts, questions to share, please. And remember, you'll have an opportunity to give feedback to the video camera as well, which will be helpful for you, which will be helpful for the humanist community of Central Ohio, and helpful for Attentional Insights.
Goes to a hot dog vendors and hot dog vendors. Make mine one with everything. Maybe one. And then gives the vendor a $20 bill. The vendor says, well, can I change that? And the vendor says, change.
All right. Well, pass up your feedback forms. And again, thank you so much for attending this workshop. I really appreciate it.